we're just conditioned that people are going to judge us because that's what happens, right? And then to put on top of that the fear of rejection, because growing up, you know, you only saw, and I only saw relationships that looked like 1 + 2 = happily ever after. Yeah. So if you don't know, Lauren's an incredible massage therapist. Like if you live in LA, you've probably already had a session with her, but if you don't, you should know that she's insane. And so when you get to travel with, your partner, she's just like, oh, you went on a 6-hour hike today. I'm just going to massage you for, 30, 40 minutes. And Nicole, and we've been like trading off, but then you got a 4-handed massage.
Oh my God. I'm the luckiest. I'm always the luckiest, actually. I'm always the luckiest. You and Pasha, I was the luckiest. You and Mac, I'm the luckiest. I mean,
yeah,
hands.
I've never had a 4-handed massage. Platonic massage, by the way, for everybody who's listening and starting to like fantasize about this. Nicole's like giggling from the other room. Mac is my best friend in the world. And now like she and Lauren have this amazing, beautiful friendship that I'm so grateful for that the 3 of us could do these girls trips and bond. Mm-hmm. But the massage was strictly platonic.
Yeah.
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 I mean, in fact, you and I have been pretty platonic on this trip.
Yeah. We have
it. We've obviously we kiss.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, we're super cute and cuddly and super duper goofy. And sometimes when we're like on the go so much, I'm like, look at this pretty outfit. Look at this waterfall. Mm-hmm. Look at this. And then like I find something to joke about. And then we have a running inside joke for the entire trip.
Yeah.
And then there's so much exploring and back to back and not a lot of rest. And then I'm like, oh, that's a pretty boy. Let's go flirt with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we spend a lot of time just being like best girlfriends.
Yeah.
And I think we've talked about this before, but I think that's one of the things I'm always trying to like drive home to people. So when you are practicing non-monogamy or polyamory, I think just inherently those things get over-sexualized by society. But then when you're like a bisexual woman, or queer, however you identify, I think society also like tends to over-sexualize you as a person. Like the fact that we are partners, people probably just assume, or like maybe they want to think about it this way, that we're like hooking up all the time. But that's like, our relationship isn't like that and hasn't been like that for a long time. But I don't think either of us feel a lack at all. I mean, how is that for you?
Yeah. I would say like in the beginning, we were very much exploring, 3 years ago, like just exploring each other's bodies. And I was introduced to so many new things with you and Pasha. And it was just like a never ending adventure, like a sexual adventure too, or life adventures. And it's still, is that way. But now, we've just shifted a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we still have the same values. I would say we've grown into them more together, and what we've developed together is like greater and bigger. So with that, I feel like there's been all of these sides of us, all these different feelings and emotions and sides of us that we've had the chance to explore more of. So that definitely would be the first thing that comes up for me, is just being goofy as fuck with you. Like that is my favorite thing, is when I know how to make you laugh so good. It's not even funny. I mean, it's freaking hilarious, but it's like, I just feel like I get so much joy off of like cracking you the fuck up.
Yeah, nobody makes me laugh like that.
We like have tummy hurting laughs, and it's just like, the way we flow together is just so awesome. Like I say something super funny or super fucked up, and you piggyback that with something else. And then we just banter and banter and banter. And
I mean, the other day you told me I didn't have the balls to eat a whole banana in the car after a hike. And I was like, okay, I don't know why. It was just,
it's the timing. And like,
yeah, people think it's all sexy, but usually you're like wiping snot. I had a little droplet of like, I don't know.
I thought it was water.
Runny, and you were like, oh, you have water on your nose. And it was snot.
It was
and
snot.
then I wiped maple syrup out of your hair at breakfast the other day too.
Yeah.
I mean, people are probably like, okay, well, that's like what, friends do, or everybody does, or like even, partners that have been together a long time. And I think we've just slipped into that realm now where we are so comfortable, and we've been at this a while, and we are together a lot. So we have to be really intentional if we want to be romantic.
Yes.
And I think what I'm saying too is like, for people listening, I want to normalize the fact that these relationships don't always have to be romantic, because I've been very fulfilled and like super happy at where we are. And I know,
same.
Yeah, you are too. But at the same time, I'm not going to stop kissing you on the mouth.
Right. So we're obviously two horny girls, like most of the time.
Yeah.
But it does take the right setting for us to go there, I think, because we are so giggly and goofy.
It's really hard to get out of
vulnerable and like a baby with each other, and then a mama with each other. We take care of one another.
Mm-hmm.
We push each other to our greatness. Like, I didn't feel like shooting the other day, and she's like, "Bitch, get naked."
Oh yeah,
get naked on this rock. There's like purple flowers and a waterfall. Take your top off.
She was so grumpy. She was like,
tie-tie.
I want to, and I was like, I think about everything. I think maybe because I was in production for a while, but I was like, but the sun is out right now. Who knows when the sun's going to come out again? It could be 3 days before we stop getting pelleted with rain and black sand, that I actually ended up getting a sty in my eye, which was like really unfortunate. But it does look better.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was like, bitch, take your clothes off.
Bitch, take your clothes off.
Take your panties off. Bitch, take your clothes off. Lauren wrote this song, by the way. Lauren wrote a song called
To the Hand It was built during handpan practice. Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out Adrian.
Yeah. We were talking about how to be careful on this couch.
Yeah.
If you're hearing like little things that sounds like we're farting, it's just because this couch is really squeaky.
It might be farting too, though. We've been eating really good food.
Okay, we're getting sidetracked. One of the reasons that I wanted to record this episode, and we were like, well, what do we want to talk about? I actually just really wanted people to get a glimpse into our lives and our relationship dynamic. Because a lot of the episodes I have all these amazing guests, and like we've had such amazing interviews recently, but it's different when I have on you or somebody that I'm really close with, and I want to mix in more of that. I think when you came on the first time, the second time, and even recording with Pasha, I think there was a lot of like, I don't know, like there was a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Expose. I don't know. Is that the right word? Knack? Like a lot of explaining.
An introduction.
Yeah. An introduction. Like, this is who we are. This is what we're about. And I think people really, enjoy that. And like, it was beneficial to get some context around who is Jessica, aside from, all the things that I do. And now I'm really happy that they're getting to know who you are.
Me too.
You're a goof.
It's funny because I was telling you, we just have the best conversations all day, every day. And for the longest time, we were like, we need to have a show before you got the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Our life is insane and everything that we do is amazing. And the conversations we have are just so beautiful and heart-opening, and the way we get to share this. And, I always want to inspire other people by things that I've gone through.
Yeah.
And so I was always, in the beginning of this, I was nervous to share my side on the podcast, but I toss and turn about it, because I'm like, what makes a difference? Like you and I talking when we're at a coffee shop versus talking and recording.
Well, the difference is like thousands of people.
Yeah, true.
But this, I would love for you to go into this more, because this hasn't been easy for you.
Yeah.
Even just like sitting down to record is one thing, but just I think being so public about this relationship. What comes up for you when you think about like tons of people knowing these intimate details of your life?
Yeah, great question. So just to let all of you know, I'm so happy that we're recording this podcast in Iceland. And I have experienced some struggles with recording the podcast. There's a huge part of me that is like, I want to share everything. I want to inspire people. I want people to know who I am. I want to share our stories with people so that other people know that they can have a relationship the way we do, and it's possible. And, if you're someone who is curious, like, those are the type of people like I want to get in front of and talk to, and so there's that side of me who like just wants to show the world who I am. And then there's this other side of me. Sometimes I get, oh my God, what will people think of me is probably like the first thing that gets brought up. And I think it's just been something that's been built inside of me ever since I was young, just of what relationships should look like, how I'm supposed to act, even though anybody who knows me knows like I do whatever I want and I own every part of me. There's a part of me, I think, since, always having the intention of finding my partner, and that will be open, poly, or monogamous when we first get together, whatever that looks like. I'm not sure yet. There was a fear that like, it's so silly because there's a fear of they're not going to think that I'm available, but really if they know anything about you and I, or like this world, they would get to know me more. I think there's that fear of just, getting rejected before I even get a chance, which is actually something that like goes way back. Like from when I was little, like I was afraid to try something because I was already afraid of the outcome, or I wouldn't do something because I was afraid that I'd fail or that I would get rejected, right? Which is just so silly as I'm saying it out loud. But it's not.
I mean, I don't think it's silly at all. I think these are super valid fears and ones that a lot of people have, which is why I'm like really grateful that you're talking about it, because I think that whether it's your personal conditioning or societal conditioning, right? We're just conditioned that people are going to judge us because that's what happens, right? And then to put on top of that the fear of rejection, because growing up, you only saw, and I only saw relationships that looked like 1 + 2 equals, happily ever after. So this is, so alternative in most people's minds that I think that, the idea that someone would just completely write you off is a very valid fear because of the conditioning. And because that's the way like the majority of society also sees it. However, there, and as like we both know, so many people that are like living either polyamorous or living in open relationship containers, or single poly people that are dating. And I mean, I know that there's always two sides of the coin. I know that there's like the side of you that knows for certain that like what's meant for you is not going to miss you at all. What is yours, and it's coming. Whether like you want it to or not, the universe is going to put it in your path. I think that there's something to be said, and I'll just like say this one other thing for everybody who's listening. The dynamic that we have is very open, and like, as we've shared earlier, like we're very rarely romantic. And so that gives you the freedom to like be romantic with whoever you are, wanting to be with. And we are really supportive of that. And so there have been times where we've like stepped back, and we talked about this, I think in one of our previous episodes, to give you just more energetic space to feel and be available. Whereas like in other relationship dynamics where like it's a full on triad or a throuple, whatever you would, think about like that, then maybe that person isn't available, but that's like not what we're doing at all.
I'm glad that you're enjoying Openly podcast in this way. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel so that you never miss one. And check out this next video for more tips, insights, and my expertise on non-monogamy and polyamory. If you want full episodes, you can find them wherever you download your podcasts.